On guys, and this is gonna be just a video about Seven Deadly Sins and just my honest opinion about it. Seven Deadly Sins is a amazing show to me. It may not be to other people, but I'm just here to explain why before I start bashing before people start bashing on it for no reason and stuff, you know. I'm not saying it's a perfect show. It's definitely not. It has its inconsistencies and a bunch of stuff wrong with it. But I mean, it's one of my favorite shows. And I mean, if you can hear my voice, I know you can. I'm pretty young, so I haven't seen too many great anime. So maybe if you know any underrated great anime, send it in. Tell me in the comment section. But like. This is one of my favorite animes. Again, I'm not saying it's perfect, but there's just some amazing things. Like, let's go into the characters now. The characters now, their relationships with each other. Like, in a thumbnail, Meliodas and Bon, their relationship, I'm not saying it's original or anything, but it's just cool and fun to see. Just how they how every time they meet, they just smack each other around. And then the relationship between Meliodas and Elizabeth, I could care less about that, right? I couldn't care less, but like, I mean, it's cool and all. It's not original, but it's pretty cool and it's relatable too. Like, let's say you have something like Attack on Titan, right? How do you relate to someone who their parent? How do you relate to someone whose family got killed by giant walking titans? Like, you can't relate to that, but you can relate to someone you love dying. And for Meliodas, it's been even harder than that because, well, they've been dying over and over again for the past 3,000 years. So you can relate to that, and you can see why he gets angry to it, how he would get, angry about that. Then there's the way that Bon just reacts to like the goddess thing. Well, whenever he was told to kill Meliodas, and they'll help him revive Elaine. So he had to choose between his best friend and his one lover who's dead. So like. I mean, for some people that may seem boring and stuff and predictable. Well, and yeah, it kind of is. But, I mean, it's fun to watch Bond go through those struggles and how he's depressed and how he drinks. And, just everything about Bond. And that's why Bond's a loved character, because people can relate to him. He's depressed on the inside, but he acts like he's perfectly fine on the outside. And then there's Eskino. Now, there's no proof that Sunshine buffs your any type of mentality you have. So what I heard from, I forgot who it was. I think it was Nuxtaku, which was it was a really amazing theory / it could be actually true. I believe it is that whenever he was bullied for being weaker, he was bullied by his brother for being the favorite. Sorry, I had to go somewhere. But I remember where I was. Eskino was bullied by his brother for being a favorite. And so he kind of had, and then that's where he first awakened his sunshine power. And so he was kicked out of his village. And so that kind of led to him, being depressed. And his nighttime form is just, the result of his depression. He's sad. He has a lot of faith in his friends, though, and he just doesn't believe in himself. He has no confidence. And then his daytime form is also another result, as he just doesn't listen to anybody. It's a result of his depression that he just doesn't listen to anybody. He doesn't trust anybody, even though he does trust the Seven Deadly Sins. He doesn't trust anybody else, and he doesn't listen to anybody else, except for the one that he loves, which is Merlin. Now, a lot of people may think King's a bad character. It's like King or Harlequin. It's either you love him or you hate him. I love him because his story is also relatable to where he had to kill his best friend because his best friend was killing humans. But his best friend was killing humans because of something very relatable. Hearing your friends, right? Imagine you're a fairy, right? And you just listen to your friends getting their wings torn off and them dying for 500 years. Yeah, that's gonna mess you up. And then King had to kill him, and King understood but he knew that humans weren't not all humans were bad, and so he had to kill him. And then sorry, I was gonna say Helbram. What was his name? What Hendrickson did to with reviving Helbram was just messed up, and it really messed up King in the head and all that. And yeah, I like that that like part of the story and how that affects King's character. King's relationship with Diane is also pretty good. I think it's better than Meliodas' and Elizabeth's to some degree. I just don't like how they both keep like losing their memories. It's just and yeah, I just hate that part. That's really what ruins it for me. Now for Gother, I feel like at least in the anime, I haven't read the manga, I don't know, but at least in the anime, he should have had like more like once he got his memories back, at least and all his emotions back, he should have had like more character interactions with people, because he really just says some smart things. He reads the room. That's pretty cool for his character and all, but like I would like to see him interact with more people and stuff. But I mean, that's just me being picky, because I'm a pretty picky person. But it's still the character interactions between certain people like Bon and Meliodas, King and Deanne, King and Helbram, King and Meliodas whenever they were inside the druid training, and how King said he's never gonna trust them, and then at the end of the series that finally gets wrapped up, or close to the end of the series that gets wrapped up. Yeah, so their character interactions are amazing. Now let's move on to their powers. Their powers, how do I put this? They're like busted. They're like super duper busted. Like they may not be like the strongest, like physically most powerful series out there, but there are some pretty busted stuff. So Amaterasu, the black flame from Naruto that can't be put out unless the user wants it to. And it burns forever, or it burns until it burns the target, right? So they basically have that. But then they have it amped, so they have it so it can burn through immortality, and it's also used by pretty much every demon, that's busted. It's just different levels of it that the demons use. So like red demons can't use it to the same level as someone like Zeldris or Meliodas, as well as every demon has regeneration, just the power of darkness, and that's. How do you beat that? Like, no one's beating that, except for the Goddess Clan, who literally have their weakness, which is light, and then they also have their own regeneration, you could almost say, like, almost comparable to the demons, as they can just pop their eye right back in. And then there's Snatch, the power of Snatch, which, if you just happen to fight against somebody who has inversion powers, like the Demon King, it can evolve to Gift, so where you can give stuff. Like your immortality. We're not going to talk about that. But yeah. Snatch is just a cool power. Still their physical. I don't know what that was. Still their physical power. And just their speed, their stamina. Just everything physical about them. So it really wouldn't work on King. But it just happens to work against Meliodas. But I also love how. And then I also love how the spears of everything, with the fairy kings, which out of the entire series, even out of Lost Vein, Bond's Sacred Treasure, I believe it's pronounced Kurachos, I don't know, Merlin's Sacred Treasure, Aldan, or freaking Chandler's like super long sword. I think King's Spear is not the strongest, but it probably is the strongest like weapon out of all of them, but it's just the coolest weapon just to look at, just to see how he evolves with that weapon. It's just amazing. And then there's also how they introduce these weapons, like how they introduce Sunshine with Eskino just beating two of the members of the Commandments. One of them just absolutely bodied most of the 7 deadly sins who were there at the time, which was and a few holy knights, the holy knights of Camelot. Slater, I think his name was, I don't know, he's irrelevant, Meliodas at the time, and Merlin. And then finally, the fights. The fight scenes are, at least when they aren't animated in what is it, Season 3? It's officially Season 3, but it's called Season 4 on Netflix. Yeah, clearly Eskino versus Meliodas is the best fight in the entire series, but what comes to a close second is Meliodas versus Bon, as it has great animation. It's just amazing how Bond basically brings Meliodas, a physical fighter, down to his lowest point, and then he just instantly just one-shots him, which was not expected by me, at least. Maybe it was by some of you, but it just wasn't by me. And at least when I first saw it, my first watch through Seven Deadly Sins, and just the fights on how people can just turn the tables despite their combat class. I was going to say power level, but that's not really what they are. But yeah, despite their combat class, they can just turn the battle around just like that. And that's why I have it as the thumbnail, because it was just an amazing fight. Anyway, that's all. I'm not saying that this is the perfect series and that it did any of the things that it did the best. I'm just saying I'm pretty young, so this is one of my favorite animes, because I mean it's one of the only ones that I see do stuff like this. And while I can go watch, which I am trying to watch more anime, I can go watch like more stuff like this. It just wouldn't be the same, since Seven Deadly Sins is one of my first. Of course, you know, it's not original with that black fire, because, you know, Naruto. I watched Naruto before this. But, you know, still pretty cool how it burns through immortality. Basically negs everything that Bond stands for. As well as there's a lot of immortal characters like Meliodas, Elizabeth, and Bond, just to name 3. So, yeah.